Hello and good evening, everybody. It is I, the one, the only C-Dubs from The Reset, and we're coming at you with another episode of Behind Gray Eyes. And first and foremost, happy motherfucking 4th of July, everybody. I didn't really do anything personally tonight, but I was able to go out on the lake earlier. I had planned, like, I was doing a stream. I was mid World of Warcraft stream. Nothing crazy. Like, it was no commentary. My internet's been dropping as of late, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to get some grinding in, just see if I can get a new follower or two, chat somebody up or whatnot. But then all of a sudden, my whole condo starts shaking, like just mad fucking shaking. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Now, mind you, every year before this year, I've always been over at somebody else's house, you know what I mean? And so, like, here in my own home, 4th of July is foreign to me. But apparently, these guys go out on the lake and they just rock the house for like 3 or 4 hours from about 5 or 6 to about 9 or 10 or whatever. And I had the privilege of going out and seeing the little bit end of their little shindigs. But it was awesome, man. Like, everybody, like, there was like a yacht partying out on the lake, on the lake. The 4th of July is absolutely fucking gorgeous. This is the first time I've ever seen it, and I can't believe what I've been missing out on. But like on the horizon, man, you can see all sorts of fucking fireworks shows going on. I've actually got some videos I shot. I just went out to the dock, probably for about 30 minutes from about 9 to 9:30, quarter till or whatever. And then I was like, I got to make a video about this. And yeah, it was just beautiful, man. It was fucking gorgeous. Like, there's a vibe out there. You know what I mean? Like, it's 4th of fucking July. Let's go. Like, it's just the American dream, man. Like, of everything going on in the world, I gotta honestly say, like, my RNG is really good, and I'm glad I spawned where I spawned. You know what I mean? Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, life can always be worse. And tonight, 4th of July, like, I don't know why, but like everything was amplified. I heard every firework going off. Every color seemed so much brighter. Everything just meant more tonight, and I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's because I spent like 4th of July in my own house. Like, I haven't done that in years, and I don't know, man. It's an amazing feeling, and I just wanted to go ahead and like not capitalize, but like fucking like throw that energy into something constructive. And I guess that's what I'm doing tonight. Like, I've been planning Behind Gray Eyes Adaptation for about a week and a half now. My buddy from work, Big M, that's what we're going to call him right now, is Big M. He told me, and I've said before, like, he's like, get your thoughts in line, man. Like, bullet it out and like have a little bit of structure. Like, chase the rabbits, keep the rawness, but like organize your structure a little bit. And so that's kind of what I've done. And I think tonight's actually a really good example of what I'm about to talk about, is because it's called adaptation, right? Like, that's what I want to talk about, because adaptation as human beings, that's our greatest strength. That's our greatest strength, period. Like, we can literally learn new behaviors while having old behaviors in place, and then all of a sudden that's a whole new behavior whenever you mesh the two together. It's like taking peanut butter sandwich and having a jelly sandwich, and then all of a sudden you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I think it's amazing how our brains work. You know what I mean? Like, adaptation allows you to do things and go places that you normally wouldn't go, or you normally wouldn't think about, unless you're willing to just like think outside the box, change your perspective. Like, if you think about it, like at ground level, we have animals and they have two instincts: survive and breed. And everything that they do in their life is based around those two things: survive and breed. Now, I'm a firm believer that in human genetic code, there is also those two same principles: survive and breed. But we get to pick how we survive, and we get to pick how we breed. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And then from there, the world is your burrito. Like, literally, you can make anything out of anything at any point in time, as long as you're willing to think it through and apply some old knowledge to some wonky knowledge you just thought up. And maybe it's going to work. Maybe it's not going to work. But it's mistakes. You're allowed to make mistakes. In the human mind, you're allowed to make mistakes, believe it or not. Because your human mind. You know what I mean? Like that's where you're at. Like anything that happens comes from your human mind. And so whenever you're faced with problem A, let's just say problem A, right? You have problem A, and then all of a sudden problem B comes into the situation. Okay, well that's easy. You take A and you take B and you shake them together and you smack them, and then all of a sudden you have solution AB. Now all of a sudden you have X2 and Y. What the fuck do you do with that? Well, you take what you learn from A and B, you try to apply it to X2 and Y, and if it don't work, it don't work, and you reassemble and you re-go at it time and time and time again. And as long as you're changing something in the formula each and every time, that's a learning process. You know what I mean? And there's something to be respected about that. And so, like, whenever it comes to applying that to everyday knowledge, like, let's just apply that to everyday knowledge. You know, like, let's say your rent's coming up, right? Your rent's coming up, and then you've got a job, and the job does what you need it to do, right? Like, but what if you could go get a second job? What if you could get a side hustle? What if you could get overtime? Well, these are all questions you have to ask yourself, and that's where the adaptation comes into play. You don't have just a set amount of money here and a set amount of money here, or a set problem here with a set solution here. Sometimes those solutions have problems have nuances to them, and that's where adaptation comes into play. You start thinking of ways to kind of like work around the problem and get to the core of it, while also being able to pursue exactly what you want to pursue and maybe even come out ahead. And given the current state of my life right now, and I know I keep going back to it, but this is not a therapy session. This is just how I'm analyzing things. Like, I always analyze, perfect example, fucking Behind Gray Eyes. Like, that's a pursuit for me. That's a hobby. That's a life passion. I want to do this. I want to do this on the regular. So in order to do this on the regular, I have to figure out ways that I can muster up energy or thought process or the ability to just even like get on here and want to ramble on for hours and hours, not knowing that there's going to become a fruitful end. Well, my adaptation to that is I kind of use these videos as if I'm talking to my daughter. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to talk to her and give her life lessons, because I'm not always going to be around. You know what I mean? So, like, at least at this point in time in life, this is a kind of a concrete way for her to, you know, go back and be like, oh, that's what Dad was talking about. You know, excuse me. There's my mouth going dry again. Like I told you last night when I recorded the kill night, my mouth goes dry. Again, I'm working on my adaptation. But I digress. Talking about my kiddo, I just want her to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, I want her to be able to have rock solid logic and rock solid mindset when it comes down to it, because nowadays you have technology that does a lot of the thinking for you. There's a reason why they're called smartphones, is because some people rely on them heavily. And I would say there's nothing wrong with that, but there's some times where it's really fucking wrong with that. Like, there's something really fucking wrong with that. And I'm not a saint, okay? Don't even get it twisted. Like, I'll be the first to throw myself on the sword. Like, my computer, my gaming, when I get home, I go brain dead. Like, that's it. Like, poop me out and just let me dry. You know what I mean? Because I ain't nothing but a big old turd at that point in time, sitting on the couch just going brain dead in front of YouTube or researching a video game, you know, that I'm never going to play. Yeah, like, we all have our vices, right? But whenever a real problem comes your way, technology is not always going to be able to solve that. It won't always solve it. It just won't. Like, yeah, you can have answers from AI, and you can have black and white answers on a sheet of paper, and you can have somebody else's opinion for all that matters. You know, someone who's been through the shit, someone who knows this particular subject in and out and left and right and up and down and every way, which way. But you don't know what the real answer is going to be until you actually do it. That's the hard part. That's the part that nobody can tell you, nobody can prepare you for. Because guess what? I mean, it's going to sound terrible. And normally I would say this in a negative connotation, but you are a snowflake. You're one of a kind. No one's going to be able to crack this pressure or know how to crack this pressure more than yourself, and yeah, I don't believe in being a snowflake, but I guess what I mean by that is uniqueness. Everybody is unique. Everybody has their own barriers, their own filters, their own boundaries, their own limits, their own ways to get ahead, their own, ability, their own work ethic, their own passion, their own mindset. Like, literally everybody has these things. Yeah, you can get a general idea of how to go about things, but like, let's think about, and I don't have any examples, so like, let's not even think about it. I was going to say, like, let's think about like elite dudes who like go and choke, but when you're trained to do something, your adaptation shines through and you just overcome it. You know what I mean? Like, you're built to do that. When you set your mind to something, there you go. When you set your mind to do something, adaptation, that's your mind. That's your key focus. It will tell you how to do it, but you got to fucking listen. And, I'm going to harken back to, like, I guess that's the reason why I'm doing the reset, why I'm trying to do all this this media, content creation. I want to flex a little bit. Not flex. Flex is terrible. Take that out. Just, hey, look, me, cut that out. There's no flexing here. Flying is what I wanted to say. Like, I don't know, like spreading your wings and just trying to fly, like, and I guess in flexing, you flex on yourself. Like, I've always said from day one, I'm always running the biggest race against myself. If I'm not better today than I was yesterday, then I'm not trying hard enough. And now, I have learned a lot of lessons, and this is one that I've learned recently, is it's okay to have that mindset, right? Like, when you're young, dumb, and we know the rest, it's easy to have that mindset of go, 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 grind, 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 grind. But as of late, I've realized I'm becoming an old dog. So you have to take all that wisdom or stupidity or lessons learned and actually apply them into the future. So you're not breaking your back, but you're using your mind more. There's an old adage. It's called work harder, not smarter. I'm sorry. Wow. Hey, future me, can we like cut that out? No? Oh, okay. All right. Well, fair enough. Work smarter, not harder. And that's where I'm coming to in my life, man, is I'm so tired all the time. Like, I'm exhausted, man. Like, my back be roaring at me. But in the back of my mind, like, and again, adaptation coming through. Like, my body, for whatever reason, is able to just like shut all the negativity down and just, it's go, baby, go time. When I hit a zen, I'm in it, man. And it's funny because at work, like, I'll sit there and like, the more frustrated I get, the more everyone's like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, yes, I'm fine. I'm just finding the next gear. And that's the truest to form answer I can ever give is I get very intense. You know what I mean? I get very intense. And so when I get intense, everyone thinks I'm upset. I'm not upset. I'm finding the next gear, because whenever you're finding the next gear, you don't have time to think about anything else except for what is on hand. And that's why I love my job, man. Yeah, it's putting years on my life and it's stressing me out. But like, in the moment, dude, like, it is the most zen thing for me to lock into a problem and just focus. Like, step A becomes step B, which becomes 2C, which all of a sudden becomes X, Y, and Z. And then all of a sudden, you have a routine. You have a set in stone set of steps that you want to follow, because it gets you through the day. It helps you stay on target. And I think that's why I love music so much. There's a rhythm, you know what I mean? And once you fall into that rhythm, everything is jiving, bro. Everything's jiving. And you know why it's jiving? We'll draw it back. Adaptation. That's why. You've learned how to cope with the problem. You've learned how to understand the problem. And therefore, the problem is no longer a problem, but in fact, it becomes a solution for something later on. You know, it's just like piecing little bits and pieces. I didn't want to say pieces twice. So little bits and pieces of code together until all of a sudden, you got a smooth running Let's just throw a technology analogy out there. Bits of code into a program. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden you're just going, man. You're going. And for me, when I hit that Zen, the most frustrating thing for me is when a wrench gets thrown in the works. If I find a Zen, I love to keep that Zen. But, big but, and I cannot lie, life is life. Life will always throw you wrenches. You have to figure out how to get over that. You know what I mean? It's never going to be peachy keen for that long. And in order to adapt to the situation, you have to not only figure out where you went wrong but not dwell on it, but also try to figure out how to not make that mistake again while veering off in a different direction that may or may not be successful. Have I blown your mind yet? I know I've blown mine. But that's the adventure of life, man. That's the adventure of life. And you got two ways you can go about it. You can either sit there and bitch and moan and piss and complain and be so sick of life that you just don't want to try anymore. Been there, done that. Or you can put a smile on your face and realize there's some shit you can't control. But what you can control is how you address a situation. Now that's a winner of an idea. And that's kind of how I live my life, man. And like I said, I am no shining example. In fact, I'm a shining example of what not to do, to be completely fair. And we might open up those scars later on. I'm not comfortable at this point in time doing that. But the point of the matter is, man, like, keep trying. Like, eventually your brain is going to wrap around the problem and whatever you're going through, and you're going to be able to just tackle it with a finesse and a suave that's just unmatched. It's just your style, you know what I mean? And it might mimic somebody else's style. And sure, you could mimic theirs or they could mimic yours, but at the end of the day, unless you're adding your own flair to it, you're just going to fail. Because there's no two scenarios that are exactly the same. And I don't care what anybody says about anything at any point in time. You can take that from daily step to daily step. Yes, there are routines and the general ideas of what is supposed to happen. But more often than not, you're going to have a wrench in there. So I hope this is uplifting to anybody who is listening. Making sure that is my mic. Yeah, that's my actual mic that I'm talking into. I had a couple audio problems before this video, so I had to make sure that like this was on the up and up because I saw it fluctuating real bad. But I digress. Just you got to keep doing. You got to keep pushing forward, man. Like it's gonna get rough. It's always gonna be rough, and you can't control everything that happens in the universe. In fact, that would be unfair. Let's be fucking real. All you can really control is how you do a situation and how you react to a situation. And this situation may do you a bit more. You know, it might put you through the ringer, but there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Like dead ass fucking facts. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And I will be the first to tell you that. And if I could take you for a half-mile walk in my shoes over these dusty lanes that I call my life, I gladly would. But I would not wish that on anybody either. All I can say, keep your head up, keep a smile on your face, and a song in your heart. And it sounds cheesy as fuck, but you'd be honestly surprised how well it works. It's called optimism. I'm pretty sure I talked on that in a previous episode. So, that said, thank you guys so much for watching. We're at that almost 20-minute mark, and it's just been a really cool night, man. And I'm glad that I was able to seize this opportunity on 4th of July, no less. And hanging out with a few really cool people and seeing a lot of shit go on that was just near and dear to my heart. And that inspired me to make this video. So, keep it on, keep it on. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. But above all else, happy hunting. I'll see you in the next one.